Hello, Stampin' Friends. This is Trina Brower here today, and I was requested by my craft club group here in Sun City to do a demonstration or to make some cards using press and seal and the floating frame technique. So these are the two cards that we happen to make with that. And let me show you a quick video of how it was that I created these cards, because it's been at least 10 years, if not longer, since I did one. So I had to take a chance and kind of remind myself exactly what it was that I needed to do. And frankly, I learned a lot. So the first thing is you're going to need to take a piece of cardstock, and I have it just cut at 4 1/4 by what is that? 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so I am going to I've cut out a whole bunch of hearts here. I've got enough hearts to last me now for years. But the whole idea is we're going to try and create this card right here. And I want to try and make it a little bit simpler, because this is really hard to do with these cut out pieces like this. So one of the things I did find out was it's better if you use larger pieces. So let me get started here, and we're just going to do a few real quick things. I'm going to start out kind of in the middle, because what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to be cutting out this center section, and sometimes it seems like it's easier if I have some of these larger pieces in the center, and there's really no rhyme or reason to it. You're just going to be throwing your hearts or whatever down on your cardstock, wherever it is that draws your fancy. And since I have so many to choose from here, I'm just going to start throwing a lot of these down. Different sizes, different shapes. They can hang off your cardstock, because it really does not make any difference as far as that goes. Let's see, let's stick this one right about here. We're going to do that, I think. And really, there's I'm not going to be too particular about what we're going to do here. Let me get some smaller ones in here. There we go. We'll stick this guy right in there. I like some of the stuff to kind of hang off so that you get an idea of what's kind of happening a little bit. Let's try, here's a good guy. Let's try this guy right now. Put this one down here. A little bit of just messing around, seeing what I think is going to fit and what's not. What else do I have in here? Like, I don't have plenty to choose from, right? So maybe this guy, get a different color in here. I'll move him up a little, move this over. I don't really want to do too much with the smaller parts, because you'll find out why here in a bit. But let's see, maybe a purple one down here. This one's okay, because he'll be fine there. Oh, what other color do I need? Let's go with this guy right in here. This one can move over. That looks pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with all of that. Might throw this one right in here. We can always add more when you're done. If you think that you have too many open spaces, no problem. You're just going to add a few more little hearts or whatever. And I'm going to put this guy right here. Okay, I've kind of got my card here set up, and now comes the fancy part. I guess I do need to grab my press and seal, good old Glad press and seal. This seems to work fine for me. Gonna pull off some here. Might help if I could find my scissors. I like to kind of cut this a little bit beforehand so that I don't end up with a real big piece of press and seal, because it's easier to work with if it's not huge. There we go. And the way that I found out that seems to work best for me, let me kind of maybe make this a little bit larger so you can see it a little bit better. Move this up here. Is to kind of just take your press and seal. You want the sticky side of your press and seal down. And what worked best for me was just kind of to start at the bottom, just leave it over and just drop it. that worked the best for me. And then we're going to take our press and seal, and you're going to have the fun part of just making sure that all your little hearts or flowers or whatever it is that you've decided to use to decorate your card, is hooked to the press and seal. Give it a nice good rub. I also kind of rub in between because for right now I kind of want it to stick a little bit because I'm going to be trimming it off. So that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. We're going to pick this up. Pick up my cardstock there. That seems to be hooked to the crooked pad pretty good. Okay. And now, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see a little better. We're going to just trim. I'm trimming off everything right along the white cardstock. Just trimming right along there as best you can. You don't have to worry too much. Trimming off the overhang of the hearts. And here we go too. And of course you can always trim more later. It really doesn't matter. So we're ending up with this piece right here. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to run it through the Big Shot with just a square. And this will be what it's going to look like right there, my square. So I'm going to be using this part in the middle for this card, and then the outer frame will be for this card right here. So I'm going to leave them right there. And due to the magic of video, I have already got one that is cut. So this is one that I ran through the Big Shot with my frame. And so I have the two pieces right here. Now the next thing that you would do, I'm going to throw some of this stuff out of the way, is you would take and you're going to peel off the saran wrap, and you want to keep your hearts or flowers or whatever on your saran wrap. And we're going to just toss the white cardstock. We don't need it anymore. So now I have my hearts. Sticky side now is up on the saran wrap. And what I'm going to do is have the fun time of putting a whole bunch of dimensionals on all the different hearts. So we're going to be popping up all this. Let me see if I can show you a little bit bigger. I don't want to get too big. So you can see what this is going to look like once I've put all my dimensionals on the heart. Once again, the sticky side now is up on the press and seal, so that you don't have to watch me picking off all of the tops of those dimensionals. I believe I have one that is already done. Let me see if I can find it here. Yes, here we do have one. I'm going to move these out of the way for right now. And I'm going to take a piece of cardstock that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. And this is going to be my card base. Move this down just a little bit more so you can see it. And now I'm going to take my dimensionals that have got the back off, my hearts that have all the backs off, and we're kind of try and lay this down on here. Now this is really the hardest part. I find it's easier for me to start at the top and just kind of line up the sides and the top and not worry too much about anything else right now, because we can always trim off more if we have to. That's not going to be too much of a problem. And then once again, pulling this up, kind of taking a look where the side is going to be, and just slowly putting it down. Now, as you can see, I'm off a little bit on the bottom here, which won't matter because I can always trim those up too. So I'm going to give it a good press. And now I've got my frame. Now you want to try and start to slowly peel the press and seal off of your card. And I have found out that with some of the cardstock, it pulls off the top layer of the cardstock. Some it does fine with. It's just kind of like hit or miss. And you're just going to take your time And you want to make sure that you're leaving your hearts on your card base. And just slowly pulling the press and seal off. Now you can see here I had a little piece of press and seal that I was not paying attention and left my little piece came off. Let's see if I can get it straight back on there. Pretty good. I can mess with that later. Okay, just tearing off more of the press and seal. I'm sorry it's not very good video showing you this since my hands are in the way. But you're getting the idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. So, like I said, sometimes it pulls off a little bit of the paper, sometimes it doesn't. So, looks pretty good. I'll trim up the bottoms here. But now we've got our card ready right there. Got our floating frame as it is. We'll take another piece of paper that I have cut already through the Big Shot that is one size smaller than the space that I've left here. So I'll be stamping on that, whatever image that I want on there, and attaching it with dimensionals again. And the same with this, the smaller piece. It'll be going the same way, although I have embossed with one of my embossing folders. That'll go down first. Then this piece will go on top of it using the same thing, slowly pulling off the tape and the dimensionals. And then I can go ahead and make my whatever I'd like. This one's going to be for belated birthday, where I stamped I remembered and thought, and then the inside but then I forgot. So it's going to be a happy birthday card. I hope you kind of get my idea of what I was talking about, how to work it, to get your frames and to find what you need to work with to do the press and seal. And I found it to be fun. It's also great whenever you have an embellishment cluster, when you're making cards or scrapbooking, that you know how it is. As soon as you pick up one piece, it never looks the same as like you had it the first time. So that's very good to use the press and seal for that, to put it over your cluster, and then you can adhere it and it'll always look exactly like when you first took it off. I hope you enjoyed this little video. There's some great videos out there using the press and seal. I found that this worked the best for me, and also too, it seems like if you use larger pieces, like the larger hearts or flowers, or whatever you choose to use, that it seems to work better where you're not having all of these tiny little pieces that need to be adhered with either mini glue dots or cut them up or whatever you need to do to get them to adhere properly. But it was a fun thing to try. I don't know if my gals appreciated it quite as much. It's not a hard technique, it's just tedious. So I hope you enjoyed this quick video and have a great time this next few days. And when you're playing with it, remember, it's just paper. You'll do fine. You can always add, trim off, whatever. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.